What's going on, everyone? I am so excited to talk to Chris Reed with Adore SEO today. He is a genius. Actually, I'm a big fan because he actually creates video games too, and I'm a big gamer. So I get to talk to Chris Reed today. And for those that don't know, Chris, can you give a little bit of backstory about who you are and kind of where you came from?
Sure, Brandon. Well, at the moment, I'm coming to you from Saigon in Vietnam, where it's always bright and sunny and warm. But I'm originally from Brisbane, Australia. So I studied software engineering at university. And the two places you can make money as a software engineer are either going to Silicon Valley or working in finance. I took the finance route and moved to London, worked for a bunch of big banks, which is pretty soul destroying, but they pay enough money that you learn to forget about it. So that was okay for a few years until the 2008 global financial crisis came along and wiped my job out with just about everyone else I knew. But thankfully, I had enough pennies saved up that I spent the next couple of years traveling the world and trying to work out what the hell am I going to do with my life. And so being a computer geek at the time, I built an online game. And I didn't build it because I wanted to learn about business. Or I knew nothing about business. I was just a geek and wanted to learn some new type of software. But as I got the game ready, I was like, well, how the hell do you get to people to a website to play the damn thing? So I started, dabbling and learning about SEO. I learned about what backlinks are, built a bunch of backlinks to my website. It shot up in the rankings. We generated a heap of traffic. I went, holy crap, sitting on a gold mine here. I quickly ditched the game, built some software to organize backlinks and take orders, and been doing it ever since.
That's amazing. So for those that don't know, I know a lot of people focus on building funnels and driving ads or traffic to a landing page. What is SEO? Like, what is the main component of it?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels man, and he builds fabulous funnels, and funnels are awesome because that's how you generate customers. And I like that at the start of his podcast, he always says, those that cheat and get venture capital, we're the hard, bootstrap people. And so you need to have stuff that converts. But that's a problem with paid traffic, right? Is that it's expensive for one. And so you better be sure that it makes it convert. But anyone with bigger pockets can come and take that traffic away from you. It's an auction. Whoever spends the most wins every time. Right. And your whole business could be taken away with you by if someone comes into your market with venture capital, they can go and buy all the clicks that you were buying. Where SEO is the organic search on Google. Sure, obviously Facebook ads and Google ads work, or otherwise Facebook and Google wouldn't be worth anything. Even Alphabet, the parent company of Google, something like 95% of their revenue comes from Google search ads. So it makes a lot of money. But with ads, only 2 to 6% of people click on ads, depending on what the search query is. But even at the high end, at 6%, that's 94% that's going to organic. So there's a hell of a lot more traffic there. So SEO is search engine optimization. It's making sure that your website appears in Google search for the right keywords, the keywords that your customers are actively searching for exactly what you do. And another advantage of SEO over especially paid ads like Facebook ads is Facebook ads or YouTube ads, you're interrupting people. They want to be on Facebook or YouTube doing whatever the hell they're doing. Your ad pops up. They're not really that interested in that. They want to be talking to their friends or watching cat videos. Where
I love it.
Where SEO, someone's actively, typing into their computer exactly what you do. So it's the search intent and the buyer intent is right there.
Well, and I think that you hit on a big point too, is when someone sees your ad, they're not going to just buy off of a whim. Typically, they're going to go to Google, search your name and see, is this person, or look up your program, reviews, and they're going to do all these searches before they typically buy your product. And so it's super important to have that SEO. So would you recommend someone buying their name as a domain or their product, or what do you recommend when you get into SEO?
Well, it really depends on what you're selling as what you should do. We are eating our own dog food and work on our own branding and SEO, and it works bloody great. We're so busy. In this whole COVID thing, it's been a nightmare for most people. We've never grown so fast. It's fabulous. Right. But Art or SEO is our main money site, and that brings in the traffic that we need, and people go into our funnels, which work really well. But yeah, I'm building a personal branding site myself. I want to do more speaking, and I got a book that I've been writing for 4 freaking years. And writing a book is a hell of a lot of work, man. But yeah, that's going to be released early next year. So like, yeah, having your own website is great for that sort of stuff. It does build credibility, but it really depends on what you're selling,
That's awesome. So like, why do you think a lot of people find marketing sexy versus doing the boring stuff like SEO and all that when it actually is so important?
Well, it depends who you speak to. I don't find SEO boring, and when I go to SEO conferences, everyone seems to think it's pretty cool.
I think it's cool too.
Yeah, like there's lots of rumors around that SEO is like risky and gambling, and like that paid search is what you should do, and like that's certainly one that Google likes to spread as well, because they don't make any money from organic search. They make money from people paying for the ads, so they much prefer people to do that. But like the SERPs do, the search engine results page, the rankings do shuffle around, but they're generally the same. Like over the years, yeah, it gets harder to rank, but it also gets more valuable. Back when I started 10 odd years ago, like the internet wasn't what it is today. Like people weren't buying as much stuff online. Like, I just used Grab delivery to order my dinner to my house. Like it's perfect. Like you use an app on your phone and charge your credit card. It's fabulous. People didn't do that 10 years ago. Now the internet's everywhere, and it's only going to get more competitive in the next 10 years. But, Google has the best software engineers on the planet, and hundreds of thousands of them. I think they've got 180,000, developers or something. And they're enhancing the algorithm every year, but they're always looking for the same thing. A fast loading site that's secure and provides a good user experience, quality content that you can trust, and showing that you're authority. Like you do that same thing and it's going to work year after year.
And I think that you said it was getting harder to rank. And I think it depends on the keywords, right? So like, there's new products always coming out. And I know that a lot of affiliate marketers, they can always promote something new that comes out and be still ranking for that. So what are some ways you can actually rank on Google to get traffic to your website?
Yeah, so the first thing you need to start with is keyword research. Like that should start before you even build a website. It blows my mind that web designers don't understand that beautiful websites don't sell things. It's words that sell things, and people need to find those damn words, or it's all for nothing.
Right.
One of our more recent customers came to us and they'd previously spent $20,000 on a website that generated them nothing. And it's like, that's a story here all the time, and it's total BS. You do not need to spend that much money. Like what you need to do to start with is understand what your customers are searching for. They're probably not searching your brand name because they don't know who you are. They're searching for a problem. Like people often don't know what the solution to their problem is. So they're searching for that problem. So You need to understand what problems your customers are searching for and make that evident on your website. Like a good website, it's straight away. Like when someone lands on it, it goes, this solves my problem. You're like, if you fix headaches, the first line should be, we fix headaches. Oh, fantastic. Awesome. And then show people that you're an authority and that, your stuff actually works, and then, lead them to take action. It's pretty as simple as that. Like common mistakes is people, talk about them and their business. I've been around 10 years and whatever. Who cares? No one gives a crap about it. They want their problems fixed.
No, that's so true. So many people think that it's centered around them versus actually solving the problem for the actual customers. And I think that's what's so important about having a website and being SEO optimized versus and focused on intent marketing versus disruptive marketing. So many people try and focus on disruptive marketing by being all flashy, but most people are just going to go and Google search, like kind of what we were talking about earlier, what it is that this person actually does, their reviews, who they are as a person, and then actually go solve their problems. And so I think that it's so important to focus on having both, right? Would you say that having both running ads and having SEO is important for any kind of business?
Not particularly. I don't really recommend ads for our customers. Like doing remarketing ads are great. They're cheap because you're only targeting the people that already know who you are and have looked at your stuff. So like that's really great value. Targeting to a wider audience is hard. Like a really good example of a problem with Facebook ads and intent. Last weekend, I was at a cafe just playing around with my phone, saw an ad for copywriting. I love copywriting. And I clicked on the ad, and it was great copy. And I went, yeah, that's a cool product. I didn't have my credit card with me. I couldn't buy it. I wasn't in the position to be able to pay for it. So like that guy, Facebook charged him money and he didn't get a sale. Where like if I was at my computer searching, copywriting books or copywriting courses, then I'm ready to buy, and he would have got that sale. But yeah, like you always need to pick a fight you can win. Like, we have a variety of different customers, some that come into us and they don't even have a website and we've got to build it from scratch, or it's not generating much traffic, or some are really established. But you always want to find the easy wins. You should look at the overall keyword. What's your whole market, and what are your competitors doing? But then, go for something that you can win. You want to making money now, and then you can invest more later. But generally what you'll find is like in every market there is some, like even, we work a lot in real estate. And so like big, like passive investment type keywords, they're really freaking competitive.
Yeah, they are.
But passive investment, what the hell is someone searching for when they're searching for passive investment? Like, but like if you think like a little bit clearer, is a lot of the real estate syndication firms that we're working with is they have investors that invest $50,000 as a minimum. So a great keyword is how to invest $50,000. Like you can be sure that someone searching that has 50 grand in their pocket that they're looking to invest. And if you make it even bigger, like $500,000, like the search volume is a hell of a lot less because less people have $500,000 in their pocket ready to invest. But the competition is even less, but that person's even more valuable. So like generally the longer tail a search screen, the better it'll convert. So like another example of that is like someone searching smartphone, right? It's like, what the hell is someone looking for that's searching smartphone? If they search an iPhone, at least you know what brand they're looking for. But it's like if someone's searching for how to buy a secondhand iPhone on the south side of Chicago, it's like that the search volume for that's going to be really low. But man, if you sell secondhand iPhones on the south side of Chicago, you're going to get that sale.
That's amazing. I mean, I think a lot of people just focus on one or two words, and if you're able to kind of really narrow down the search, you're going to get much more better customers in a sense, because it's going to be tailored to them versus trying to focus on either a cold audience or just a really broad audience. So what would you say, just starting out, someone could start with their business? I know you said keyword research earlier, but if you're just starting out, maybe you just started a website, what are some things you should really focus on?
Yeah, so a question someone asked me the other day is like, if you were starting business again, where would you start? And I'd say with a freaking plan. Like I didn't know anything about business when I started. It took a really long time and a lot of mistakes to get where I am. Just recently I worked with our key players in our company to build out our 3-year plan. And we just rolled out the 1-year plan starting 2021 to the whole company on last Friday. It was fabulous, really inspired everyone, and it shows really clearly exactly what we're doing the whole of next year. How many people we need to hire, how many leads we need coming in, like every bit of projection. It's fabulous.
I love that.
It's a lot of work, but it's really valuable. And two books that set me on that course by a fabulous author called Mike Michalowicz. One is Profit First, about always make sure you have a profitable business.
Right.
Because you can't do shit if you don't. And the other one is Clockwork, which is about how to build a business that doesn't revolve around you. And the whole premise of Clockwork is about what's the queen bee role of your business? Like what's the main important thing of your business? Like ours is SEO. If our people need to be doing billable hours for our customers, or otherwise we're not making money. So if they're in team meetings or like internal communication or whatever the hell, they're not making money for the company. We need them to be, doing their queen bee role. And so really, unless your company is an SEO company, you shouldn't be doing it yourself. Like you should be hiring someone else to do that. Like I have a Profit First accountant that, does our books, and she does a fantastic job. You're crazy if you try and do this stuff yourself, because it's just not a good investment of your time.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And just to go off of books, it's funny. I keep hearing Profit First, and I definitely need to read that. I just finished Scaling Up, which I don't know if you've read that, but that would be right in line with what you're doing with your 3-year plan.
I have, and on that, they did a really, really bad website migration. They're like, I read Scaling Up a couple of years ago, and I sent the author an email because I'm like, man, I checked out your website and you went from like 30,000 visitors a month to 5,000 or something because you totally screwed up your migration. And I think I embarrassed him too much in it. Yeah, but like, how much did that cost you, dude? It's like, hire a freaking expert. Like, you're destroying your brand.
Yeah, I mean, and that website or that book was really phenomenal. But I mean, if you don't hire the right people, I mean, you're never going to scale up, right? So I think that's super important. Oh man, I was just talking to Cody Laughlin, and he talks about exit strategies. And he was on a podcast, Money Talkers, and really goes deep into taking yourself out of the business and how important that is, so that at some point you can have the option to have an exit strategy to sell the business and then again start a new business or whatever that is. So I think that's another book I should definitely link, and we'll link all 3 of those books in the show notes, so you guys can definitely read those if that's something you guys are into reading. Or for me, I do audiobooks, so it allows me to listen to content really quickly. So just off a side note, what was the game? Is it still around that people can actually download? Like,
it's not. So it was a web-based game. So I'm a Java developer, and I used to work for banks, and banks don't like to be online because they want to keep everything secure. So I used to use desktop applications, and I wanted to learn how you do web development with the Java Web Suite. And so I was learning that. And yeah, once I discovered SEO, I ditched it. Like, I didn't even finish it.
Oh no!
It's been on my to-do list for about 10 years now, but yeah, I don't think it's going to get there anytime soon.
Oh man, I haven't played video games in a while just because I don't have time. I mean, growing a business, scaling a business, it takes a lot of time, and you don't get to do, just like you said, you don't get to play those games anymore that you once loved. But again, once you are able to create your business on autopilot and able to scale it up and then take yourself out of business and kind of oversee and be able to grow your business and work on your business instead of working in your business, it allows you to do a lot more. So what are some pitfalls people fall into when getting into SEO or hiring a digital agency or a marketing agency? What are some pitfalls you think that people fall into?
I think most, I like sales, and so I do a lot of our sales because I really enjoy that. And I think the biggest problem that we have to overcome to actually get someone on board is they don't believe that it's possible for them. They go, wow, these guys make lots of traffic, but it's like, is it going to work for me? Like, one of our newest customers who's bought a strategy from us but hasn't implemented it yet. Like, she does HR solutions, and I really, really enjoyed talking to her because she's like, man, people don't understand how important HR. It's not just recruitment, and we've had our own HR for a couple of years now, and like, it changed our business like so much when we had one. And I was like, this is fabulous, and like, educating business owners on that stuff is so important because most people don't know how important HR is. And when we delivered her strategy to her, she's like, oh, what about people searching this? Are they going to be our customer? I'm like, man, you really don't believe in this, like, because you don't understand, and I'm not doing a very good job of selling her. And that's a big hurdle that people have. Like, the predictability of business, if they could see how good it is, because, I honestly say to our customers, like, you're going to be kicking yourself that you didn't do this a year ago. Like, once you have a consistent amount of leads coming into your business, like Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, he's said revenue cures all problems. And it's so true. You can screw up everything in business. If you got more customers coming in, you're going to survive. And like, having a constant lead flow is just, oh man, it makes you sleep good at night. That's for sure.
No, it definitely does. I mean, I always talk about having recurring income. I'm a big person in, we go back to the passive income. I invest in real estate. I have software, and all we do is monthly recurring because it is the lifeblood of your company. If you don't have that, you can't test. You're always trying to make your next sale, and it just limits you in a lot of ways. And I feel that if you're able to really grow your monthly recurring revenue, like you were saying, it allows you to stay afloat at all times. Because
beauty with digital marketing too is that it's predictable. Like
Right.
it's a science, right? Like you need to be able to grow in a predictable way. You can't go from 10 customers this month to 100 customers next month and then back to 10.
Right.
You need to have, because you have to hire more staff. You need to have more processes in place, and then you have more bills to pay. And the beauty with digital marketing, whether it's paid or organic, is you can see I need this many people, this is my conversion rate, and you just keep turning up the notch as your business needs more customers. It's fucking fabulous, you know?
Yeah, I love it. It's all a numbers game, right? Like if you know your numbers, if you know your conversions, you're able to scale profitably. And I think that it's so important that a lot of people kind of just, they don't even have a plan. They kind of guesswork what they're doing in their business. Some of them don't even have an email list, and they don't follow up. And I think that's a lot of the pitfalls I see with people online is they don't even have an email list. Now, even more so, text messaging. People aren't collecting phone numbers. So,
Man, I'll tell you how important email lists are. And I'll tell you, so generally when I have a sales call with people, I usually go, well, how many more customers do you want? And they're like, I don't know, more. Like they have no idea, you know. It's like we help them build that plan, which is nice. But one of our customers, who's a big time painter in the US, he's got like franchises in 7 or 8 states. He's massive, knows every painter. He told me that most painters are doing about 200K and really struggling. The painters that are smart enough to have email marketing are usually doing around 2 million.
wow.
It's like, man, even if it cost you 30 grand to set up an email marketing campaign, which it doesn't, it's like to 10x your business. Like, what better investment are you ever going to get, you know?
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I don't even get that with real estate. I mean, if you can 10x your business, and it's scalable. I mean, I can't run a scalable real estate company because there's so many roadblocks with credit, with Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac. I said that wrong, but all the different kind of roadblocks. Like I can only have 10 mortgages on my name unless I package them into a portfolio lender and take them all off my name, and then do 10 mortgages only in my name. So there's so many roadblocks versus an email list. You just run traffic or continuously put out content to build your email list, and that allows you to scale your business like you said, tenfold. And I think that's so important. So why don't people actually start collecting emails? Like why, I mean, it's such a simple thing. Like you can just do you have WordPress, which is a free website, thanks, Chris, a free like hosting provider in a sense, besides obviously the domain hosting and all that, but it's a free platform.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the questions you asked earlier that I didn't really answer is what is the pitfalls that people have when falling into SEO or even building a website is generally web designers don't understand what the hell the purpose of website is. It's to generate customers, not look pretty. And so if they don't understand that, then walk away from them to start with. But even if you're working with an agency, make sure that they have a strategy. Like, any agency that sells you like a small, medium, and large package, it's total BS. You need to work with how many customers do you want? Like, what does a successful year look like to you? Because if you want to go from 10 to 100 customers or 10 to 1,000 customers, well, it's going to take a different amount of effort. But you should start at, this is where I want to be next year, and then work back with that. It's really not about how much you spend. It's what's the cost per acquisition of your customer. I think it was Dan Kennedy that said, though the company that's going to spend the most to get a customer in the end is going to win. So like as long as you can get customers at a good price and keep dropping that down, which the more resources you throw at a digital campaign, the less each lead becomes. So that's what you really need to have is a solid strategy.
I have a question for you based on strategy. I don't know if you've heard of this, but have you heard of Google stacking, where you stack, I guess, different layers of Google's products on top of each other, their sites, their groups, their Google Sheets, and create some kind of, I guess, symmetry with those? Or is that something that you've never heard of?
I remember hearing of this a couple of years ago. I mean, there's a fabulous SEO conference called Chiang Mai SEO, which it's just a couple countries over from me, so it's nice and close. And I know the host, who's a really cool guy. And yeah, the geeks tend to talk about stuff like that. And what I recall it was is kind of a way to get backlinks, which are really important, but I didn't really listen to it too much. mean, generally how we get backlinks, so a backlink is a link from one website to another, and it's the secret how Google works. Because you can write any crap you want on a website, and how does Google know if it's true or not?
Right.
They do that by who's linking to you. So the more backlinks you have, the more trust you are, and the better you'll rank. And so a great way that we get backlinks is by me going on podcasts. It takes a lot of effort to go on a podcast. You don't have to talk for an hour. So you can't BS the system, right? You get a great backlink because it's exactly, how to grow my business. That's exactly the sort of keywords we want to be ranking for. We don't want to rank for SEO type keywords because people that are searching SEO, they want to learn about SEO. We don't want those people as customers. We want to get in front of business owners and go, how the hell do I get more customers online? That's perfect for us. And so how we do that is by going on podcasts and getting great backlinks, which, makes it really valuable. There's plenty of other ways you can do it as well. We've got plenty of customers that don't want to be talking to anyone. So, we do a lot of outreach and things like that. But a great example for real estate agents. So realtors that are usually targeting a specific area, they're not in direct competition with other realtors around the country. So if you can partner with other realtors and get backlinks in exchange, then that's a really good way to do it. But also, if what you can do is use your local service providers. One of our customers, Avery Carl, who is amazing. She just made it in the top 1,000 realtors in the US, in the top 10% of that, number 83, I think. She's just going ballistic. So she sells houses and then to people as investment properties and then manages them well. So she gets paid twice. But she works with a whole bunch of local service providers, painters and carpenters and landscapers and whatnot, and they want her business. So, she haggles with them to make sure she gets a backlink to their website. And she focused on the Smoky Mountains. And so, when you want to rank in the Smoky Mountains, having links from other businesses in the Smoky Mountains is super, super important. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that just, again, kind of uses Google's algorithm to kind of, especially locational based, to point that person is kind of important in that area. So how important is citation then? A lot of people don't even know what citation is or citation sites. Is that a great way to kind of build backlinks and do authority within your website?
Yeah, so citations, as are usually referred to as local SEO citations. So anything with a geo-targeted keyword, so real estate, Smoky Mountains, or anything that has a location on it. Generally, a Google My Business, the Google Maps box will pop up. There's only 3 of those that come up, and they get the vast majority of the clicks. So you really want to be ranking in there. And Google loves ranking properties. And so how you rank in those is basically having your name, address, and phone number as many places as possible. Because Google wants to make sure everyone has a good user experience. So the more they see your name, address, and phone number, they go, oh, these guys are legitimate. Reviews don't actually help rankings. Well, not that there's hearsay whether they do or not. I mean, they seem to on phone. I've done tests myself on that, but on
Google
on Google search, they don't seem to, because you can find, especially if you look at lawyer keywords, because lawyer keywords are really freaking expensive. I think truck accident attorney is something like $280 per click. It's freaking. Oh, it's mental. But if you Google these keywords, quite often you'll see Google My Business for lawyers that have 0 reviews that are at the top. I think a lot of those are kind of rank and rent kind of pages that SEOs rank and then sell the leads to lawyer companies.
I mean, that's a good strategy too. I mean, I've seen a lot of companies now doing click per cost, I think it's called, where they sell the lead or click per acquisition. I don't know what the term is. I'm not an SEO guy, but I know that I see a lot of people click per lead. That's what it is, where they'll actually do the ads. They'll rank for the actual key term, and then they'll collect all the leads and then sell them to the actual companies. And I think that's another good strategy. I think that's so cool nowadays that you can do all these different techniques and kind of these little avenues to make money in digital marketing. So how is it different than, say, traditional advertising? Can you even do and make money with radio or newspaper or TV or anything like that today?
Well, I'm sure that Coca-Cola still spends a crap load of money on TV, so it must work, I assume. It's something that I know very little about. I imagine your cost per lead with a Super Bowl ad is probably a whole lot less than a Facebook ad, a whole lot more, sorry. Like the problem with any old school marketing techniques is they're not measurable. Like, how do you even know how many people listen to your ad on radio? They have no idea how many people listen to it. How do you track when they actually bought something, where they came from? I mean, if you've got Coca-Cola's money, then you can do branding. In fact, I had lunch with the CEO of Coca-Cola in Cambodia one time, and his whole marketing team was there, which was interesting. And you know how they have those Coca-Colas with the people's names on the side of it? Yeah. So that actually came from Coke Australia. Each of the different countries run their own marketing campaigns to see what works. And it worked so well that, they pushed it around the world. And they told me, like, I said, well, why don't you just do it all the time? And they said, well, we get a spike for about 3 months. Sales goes up about 15%, and then it starts dwindling because people get bored of it. And so after 3 months, we stop it and then leave it for 9 months or so, and then do it again. That's as close as they can to get measuring it.
Well, and I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, is doing testing. You're able to make recurring income month after month, and you're able to do these tests to see if it actually works. And if it fails, then hey, that didn't work this time. Maybe we'll bring it up again. And being able to test something like putting their name and their name on a Coke can, and having it raise 15%, and then realizing, okay, after 3 months, it no longer works. That's important information for you that you can actually use down the road, because you're able to test with recurring income. I think
but I imagine their feedback loops are quite slow, and like, even how quickly can they turn printing up and down and dispatching Coke cans? Not as quickly as you can with Facebook ads. Yeah?
Right. That's very true. So how do you get, you were talking about backlinks and podcasts. Is that the only method for backlinks? Can you do?
No, it's just certainly one that we recommend to our customers, because you get in front of someone else's audience, which is great. So whilst your website is taking time to rank, because if you've got no authority, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Right.
So it's a great way to get in front of an audience. And other things that we do is like some of the methods I just mentioned. Building statistical articles is really good. Like, we have an article, it's something along like how many Google searches per day. And in 2020, we've updated it every year for the last 5 years. And it gets awesome backlinks from all of the SEO tools, because they want to keep updating their articles, and they need statistics. And we've got a great article on statistics, and so they give us really good backlinks. So having information about your industry and really accurate statistics. Like, another one that we've been working on is podcast sponsorship. How much is the average podcast sponsorship? So we've been communicating with all sorts of podcast hosts, history posts, business hosts, real estate hosts, to see what they charge for sponsorship, and how many downloads they have and how many listens they have. So that it's valuable resource. So anyone that has a podcast can go, oh, this is what the going rate for podcast sponsorship is, and then you get freaking awesome backlinks, plus you build a really good connection.
Yeah, and I actually I noticed that infographics do really well, because people are visual people typically, and they like to see kind of the numbers and see how things rank. And just like you said, statistics are great ways to have people backlink, because it kind of shows that you actually put a little bit of effort into creating something based on actual real data. And I think that's a huge thing for SEO. So I love, this has been huge in a lot of great information for me. Actually, I'm going to take a lot of this and rewatch it, because I love SEO in a sense, because it just helps you get free traffic. It helps you build authority within your niche, and it just really allows so much more versus having someone come to your website and then just automatically leave because of, say, for instance, a funnel. Funnel is typically just one product and one focus, while a website, an SEO, can be kind of a range of things in a particular niche. So
you bring them in with informational content, right, and then you push them over. You show them your authority, that what right, you're talking about, and then you push them over to your money pages. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. So I have my WordPress site where I put my blogs and my podcasts and all that stuff. And then I actually have my funnel, which does all my quote unquote marketing to convert them. So I think it's having both is super important. So what are some tools that you use for your business for both SEO and for marketing?
Yeah, so a really awesome tool is Ahrefs. It's pretty expensive, but if I think they have a trial that's like $7 or something for 7 days, for any like newbie, like that gives you more than enough data that you need. You can throw in all your competitors, see what keywords they're ranking for, build yourself a decent keyword list. Like, it's a great tool, and $7 will like give you all the data you need. A really quick way you can audit a website, which is useful. If you go to Google and type site, SITE, and your domain name, all one word, that shows how your site is indexed in Google, all of the different pages. And so anytime you see a ... after the title tag or a ... after the description, means they're not set to the right length. So that's a quick thing to fix, is making sure your titles and descriptions are fixed. But that's where most people screw up, is in the title they'll have like their brand name, and it's like, no one's searching for freaking brand name, and if they were, they'd already find you. Like, get in the problem that you fix. What do you want to rank in there? Like, it's really important you have good keyword mapping. Each page should have one primary keyword and 3 secondary keywords. The primary keyword goes in the title and the H1 tag, and the secondary keywords go in the description and the H2. So like, I mean, you can get a lot deeper. Like Screaming Frog is a fabulous tool for like scraping websites and doing audits. Surf is a really good tool for analyzing content. But once you add up all of these tools, they, for one, get expensive, and they're bloody hard to use.
Yeah. I mean, my friend Chris uses Ahrefs a lot, and I actually go to him quite often. I'm like, hey, Chris, can you do some keyword research for me? And he always does that for me. So I appreciate him all the time for doing that. But yeah, I mean, I actually use for SEO ranking, and not ranking, but for doing my articles, I think it's called MathRank, which is a WordPress plugin. There's all sorts of great websites out there that will help you, but I highly recommend Ahrefs, or I think SEMrush is another one.
SEMrush is what I use for sales calls, because it presents data in an easier to see way, so it's easier for kind of layman's, but it's not as accurate. It's not as good. It's like, it's quite a bit cheaper than Ahrefs, but it's certainly not as good. But yeah, like, that's one thing that people underestimate, is keyword research and how important it is. Like, I podcast quite a lot, and it's like, if podcast hosts have no idea about SEO, and it's like, they'll be busy. One real estate podcast I was on, he pumps out one episode every day, 7 days a week. Wow. Like, holy crap, that is a lot of work. And I'm like, man, if you just did a little bit of SEO on each episode, say it ranked for 100 searches a month worth of traffic, that's not hard. That's really freaking easy. You'd add 700 people a month every week. What's that, like 2,800 a month? It's like, Jesus, in a year you've got 30,000 visitors a month coming to your website. Like, that's a massive website.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, like, if you should be doing keyword research before you do any podcast, before you write any content, before you do anything. Understand what your customers search for, understand how competitive it is, like, and start small. Go for 100 searches a month worth of keywords, and rank for that, and then just do it again and again and again.
I love that. I mean, I kind of do a small mix depending on how, I guess, easy it is to rank. I use Neil Patel's a little Uber suggest sometimes to kind of see what if it's an easy way to keyword rank, or if it's easier to rank versus paid ads versus just organic traffic, and how it optimizes versus desktop and mobile. So I think that it's a very important to understand the difference of what actual people are searching for. I mean, that goes to back to the very beginning of what we said of solving people's problems. Is most people are into going on Google and searching how to fix this, or whatever the kind of search phrase that they use to solve a problem. They're not really searching for like the money friends or brands. They're searching for a particular need, and that goes exactly what we've been talking about this whole thing, is intent versus disruptive with social media. So why do people only focus on the sexy part? I mean, I see this all the time online, is they they focus on engagement, but they don't really do the sales part, and they are maybe even scared of sales. So why are so many people scared of making money?
I mean, that's a vanity metric. It's like, I was chatting to an old friend the other day, and he's like, "Oh, how many people you got working in your company now?" And it's like, well, that's a shitty metric. Like the smaller amount and the more profitable you are, the better. Like,
right.
How many staff you got or how much revenue you're generating is not a good measure of a business. It's how profitable you are and how stable you are.
I love that.
And the same with the website. Like, who gives a crap how much traffic you're generating and what keywords you rank for? It's how many customers are popping out the other end that matters. And like, that's another thing to look out for a digital agency if they're not focusing on that, because who cares? Like, that's what we try and show our customers. Like, we get away from the rank tracking because who cares? If we set up Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics, so we can, analytics to see who's on your website and where they're going, Tag Manager to track them along, get that into your CRM or through whatever shopping cart you're using, and then you can see exactly where people are coming from and how much money you're making. You show that to people, and they want to spend more money.
Right. Yeah, I think that's so important. So, Chris, where can actually people find out more about you, learn what you do, and just get in contact with you if they need SEO?
Well, if they want to actually grow their business, they can just Google the coolest guy in SEO. They'll see my pretty face everywhere. But if they go over to Ardor SEO, that's Ardor, ARDOR SEO.com/moneyfriends, we've got a landing page there. If they pop in their details, I'll personally make them a video review. So I'll make a video showing you your market, exactly what your potential customers are searching for, and show you some simple things that you can fix yourself on your website to get your message directly in front of where these people are looking for you, and predictably grow your business.
Wow, that is an amazing offer. Wow, thanks so much for taking the time to actually review my Money Friends websites completely for free. And I think that's such an amazing offer. You guys should definitely check that out. That'll be linked in the show notes. Definitely take up him on this offer. This is amazing. Any other last words you want to leave my audience with, so that on a high note, even higher note than we've been doing all the whole day?
Just how important it is to have a plan for your business. So think about where the hell you want to be in the next 3 years. A great book that I read on that was The Vision Driven Leader by Michael Hyatt. And he has a really great course on making it easy, because it is pretty bloody hard to build a 3-year plan. But man, you build one and you build a marketing channel that generates all the leads you need. And I'm not the world's greatest businessman. I've made a lot of bad mistakes. Man, had one of our office managers steal $30,000 one time. We've done all sorts of crap.
I've had that happen.
That really pissed me off.
Yeah.
But we have consistent leads coming in, and customers lining up, and man, when you have that, it feels great, and you sleep really well at night knowing that no matter what happens, you're gonna do okay.
I love that. Chris, thank you so much. You've been a pleasure. I've learned a lot, and I hope our audience has. So definitely check out Chris's website. We will definitely link that in the show notes. Take advantage of that offer. And until next time, guys, peace.